I'm Zach.
I'm Maddox.
And this is our 2025 Philmont backpack review. All right, so first we're going to cover our backpacks and our boots, two of the most important items that you carry in your backpack or on your feet, right?
Yep.
All right, so we'll start off with the backpack first. This is a Gregory Baltoro 75 liter.
And this is what it looks like almost fully packed.
So his is a 65 liter. I probably could have gone with a 65 liter. I actually had a lot of extra space. And he had zero extra space after all the crew gear and food was added. So the cool thing about this this specific backpack, it's not the lightest backpack out there. It's actually comes in at 4.5 pounds, almost 5 pounds. So it's really not that light of a backpack. So if you're looking for an ultralight option, this would not be it. But weighed down and loaded down, it's a very comfortable pack.
It is, and the hip belt is great too. And that's like one of the most important things when you're backpacking.
A couple of features this one specifically has. So on the inside here, I'll show it. It actually comes with this day pack, which is a full day pack. It's not a little drawstring pack. It's actually really good quality. It comes with a bunch of clips in the zipper, and it comes in a nice little place on the inside here for your camelback. If you can see that, it clips right in. Another thing that this backpack comes with is its own pack cover, which we used
a lot because it rains a lot in Philmont.
Yeah, so we use this pretty much every night, and then sometimes during the days when it would rain, but definitely at night to protect it from the dew. But it's got these good little zippers and stuff. So a couple of things that we added ourselves. So I added carabiners all over mine. You can see on Maddox's here, he's got
holding my camp shoes. And like it holds a tag too. You're gonna need them. You're gonna need them.
Yeah, and it's got nice bottom straps here. So he actually strapped his pack, his sleeping tent on the bottom. It's got this little quick water bottle release, so you can see it right here on the side, which is fantastic. A lot of the packs that we saw didn't have this type of setup, and it was more just the straight edge, so they had to have a buddy to actually help them pull the water out and put it back in. It's not a big deal, but when you're trying to move on the go, right? Yeah. It really helps to just be able to pull that water bottle out and then stick it back in yourself. It also has the camelback hose clip.
I actually don't have mine on, but I would have a camelback right here and just sip it like that.
Yeah, so it's super convenient. This is actually the previous year model. The new model made a lot of improvements in the suspension system, and it actually has two much larger waterproof bags on the side. This one has the mesh and the waterproof. It is too small to fit a phone. I've put mine in vertical, so it just rode right here on my hip. It was very convenient, just pull it straight out.
It makes it easy for us.
Yeah. But one of the things I added was this little red flag, and Maddox had on his before he took it off. He had an orange, an orange carabiner, a red carabiner. That's right, it was red carabiner. This is just something that we picked up along the way of other professionals talking about where you put your first aid kit. Right, so if somebody comes back running back to your pack and they need your first aid kit,
you can just say it's in the pouch with the red ribbon.
Right.
The carabiner.
Yeah,
that was really helpful.
Super easy, and it gives somebody a visual to look for, and it's very lightweight. I mean, this is just a little ribbon. He had a little red carabiner.
Yeah, it doesn't add any weight.
It's not adding a whole lot. One of the unique features about this pack, though, compared to a lot of packs, is this little U-shaped access area. So if you see there, I can unzip this.
You're going to need that a lot, because if you put stuff at the bottom of your bag with all the crew gear in, you're not going to want to take it all out. You're going to want to just be able to get right in there without having to take everything out from the top and then reload it.
Yeah, so this is, again, the Gregory Baltoro. I've got the links in the description. This is, again, the previous model, but the new one made a lot of improvements. Two of the things they took away though are the day pack and the pack covers, so you would have to buy those separately. I used my day pack in camp. I didn't really use it on the trail.
I really didn't use it a lot. It depends on your programming. I used it to hold my camel pack though. That's the only thing. So
yeah, so that really covers the backpack. Next, we're going to talk about boots. So we have two different style of boots. We'll go over Maddox's first. We got these, the high walks. We got them from Amazon, did some research on them. How did they feel? I mean,
they felt great. Honestly, they were great with the waterproof stuff because we went through a lot of creek crossings. But a couple of times I did like a disc number and like twisted my ankle a little bit. But these held together. They like held my ankle up so that I didn't fall over or anything.
Yeah, and so you can see here, like on the bottom side, you're going to want a pair of boots that have some good tread on them.
Yeah.
You really worn those down, didn't you? But they did great. Just do your research on them. So I actually went with a lot more expensive option. I did the La Sportiva Nucleo GTX 2s. Super comfortable. One thing about them is they run narrow. I have a very narrow foot, so it was perfect for me. But that's one of their biggest complaints is they do run narrow, and the sizes are a little bit off. So like I normally wear an 11, actually had to go with a 11 and a half, a half size bigger just to get it to fit my foot. But both boots are 100% waterproof.
If you get these, I would probably do a size up because you're going to want some toe room. Otherwise, it's going to hurt to hold.
Right. So as your foot expands on the trail and the thicker socks, you're going to want a little room. They are 100% waterproof, which is great.
You're going to need it for the creek crossings.
Right. And we entered a couple of areas that we were not prepared for, which were very marshy.
Yeah, exactly.
So you take a step and it was just squish and your foot was like halfway
covered in mud.
All the way up in the mud. So having a good pair of boots, make sure they're broken in at least, I don't know, 100, 150 miles on them before you take them.
I would try to get a good bit of miles in them.
Yeah, so you can see these are very well worn, very well broken in. I still have quite a bit of tread on mine left, but you're going to wear them out.
Yeah.
So having a good pair of boots
definitely matters.
Is fun. Yeah. All right, so next we're going to cover our sleep system. Ours were slightly different in terms of what we brought, but the sleep system is essentially the same. We'll start out with just the clothing first. It's real easy. I mean, I took a dry fit shirt, a pair of shorts.
And they say put your sleeping clothes in your sleeping bag. But honestly, by day 3, I was like, nah, I'll just mix them up. It'll be fine. So I didn't really do that the first couple of days I did. But then after that, it was, I just kind of mixed them in, took what I need.
Yeah, so I kept all mine in my sleeping bag. And I will get to that, but yeah, it was really easy and convenient. So our sleeping bags, let's go over those real quick. So we took 2 different style sleeping bags. Maddox actually had a Teton.
And for this pack, if you just unzip it right there, here's a sleeping bag.
Yes, so he had a Teton sleeping bag, a 20-degree sleeping bag, synthetic from Amazon. Great, it great. I mean, you slept.
Yeah, I slept pretty good most nights. There were a couple nights that it was a little confusing to get the mummy stuff because whenever you're sleeping and it's like you don't know where anything is. So it was a little confusing, but for overall, it kept me pretty good.
It was lightweight. I think it comes in at just under 3 pounds. It's like 2.9 pounds. So it's not super heavy. It is synthetic. I about a week or 2 prior to going out, decided I wanted to switch sleeping bags. I had an older bag that was given to me. It was synthetic. It had a bunch of clumps and holes in the synthetic. So it wasn't the most warm. So I actually ended up switching over to an Ampex down 20-degree sleeping bag. So it's synthetic, mine's down, and it was very warm. It was great. I cannot stress this one highly enough. It comes with a full zip on the side, half zip on the other side. And And a couple of the other little cool features are specific to this bag, and I'm sure other bags have, but this one specifically. It has this little pocket right here where I can actually stick my sleep clothes.
Man, you get all the fancy stuff.
Sorry, buddy.
I didn't get all that.
There's a little pocket right here. I can stick my sleep
I
clothes
didn't even know about this.
And it was handy. It doubles as a pillow. I actually did bring my own pillow too, but it was that was handy. It has this little inside neck collar that helps, you know, a baffle to kind of keep your neck warm. The other cool part about this bag is, if you can see down here, it has this little strap on the toe box, which was great because I could strap it around the bottom part of my pad and then have to worry about rolling and flipping off, you know, my feet off the pad. It's a little bit to get used to because you're kind of constrained at the bottom, but at the same time, it was very useful because I did toss and turn.
Man, I didn't get all this fancy stuff.
The other side, on the back here at the head, is this little T-strap. You can see right here, this little T-strap. It actually hooks around the top of the pad to keep you from shifting back and forth and falling off the pad on the top. So if you know anything about Philmont, you're going to end up sleeping on at least one hill.
Yeah, and mine didn't do that, so I was sliding right down. It's just like a water slide.
Yeah, so if I'm rolling anywhere, I'm taking the pad with me. So this was super nice. I cannot speak highly enough about it. It was a really good last minute purchase.
The tents. So what I took was the what is it?
Ampex.
Ampex, that's what it's called. 3-person backpacking tent. This tent was awesome. It was so easy to set up. I could set it up with one person. It was just me and my buddy, so we didn't have 3 people in it, but it was perfect because we could each go do our own thing and one person could set it up and it would be done like that.
Right. So Ampex, it's a 3-person tent. Once you get 2 people inside there with their pads, it's really the maximum. This tent specifically, though, comes in at under 4 pounds. It's like 4 pounds, 10 ounces or something, fully loaded with tent, bag, poles, footprint, fly, everything.
And whenever you split the stuff up, the poles in the tent, it's really light.
So speaking of splitting them up, it's got this nice little compression sack on the tent. Now, right now, the poles are in there, so you can't really compress it as much.
But whenever you split the poles up, then it got like pretty small.
Yeah. Now, I will note this compression sack is not waterproof. It's water resistant, but it's not waterproof. So
if it's soaking in water all day, it'll be wet.
Yeah. So if you got to downpour something and you can't get that inside your rain pack cover, then you're going to be in problems. I, on the other hand, went with a nature hike. These poles, everything, stakes are in here. But this is the tent, the footprint, and the fly all in a pretty slim bag. It's pretty compressible, which is nice, but it's a 1-person tent. I only had one problem with this tent. It's the way the awning is for the tent itself. It's kind of difficult to get the zipper because it's down at an angle and you have to like reach up. That was my only complaint about this tent, but it's about a 3-pound tent. Again, these are not the lightest options you can get out there. I'm telling you, this was the best tent I've ever had. It was so easy. It was all color coded too, so you could just hook the stuff up really. It was easy. Yeah, and this one was easy to set up too. I mean, it had it up and down within 10 minutes, 5 minutes up, 5 minutes down. I mean, it's really, really quick. Aluminum poles, aluminum stakes. So you could swap out some of that stuff. You can't swap out the poles, but you could swap out your stakes for like titanium stakes or something lighter, and save a few ounces there. But overall, I mean, for a 3-pound tent, 1-person tent, it was great. And that's a 3-person tent, and it was very, very lightweight. It's going to be lighter than your Phil tents. Your Philmont tents are going to come in at over 5 pounds, so you're saving close to a pound with just this tent. And once you split it up,
it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. Yeah. It'll add up.
The next thing we're going to cover inside the tent. So we've covered our sleeping bag, but let's cover our pads and our pillows.
So if you do this backpack, this is what I use one of the little straps for, is on the side. I put my sleeping pad here and my pillow here.
So we have 2 very different sleeping pads. So he has a Sleep and Go pad. It's from Amazon. It's one of the most popular brands they have.
It's great.
Comes in a single, comes in a 2-pack. We actually bought the 2-pack.
Yeah. And then during one of the day hikes, I don't know what happened. It popped or something. It was very small, so it took some time for the air to get out, but I mean, we just didn't have time to repair it because we were just so close to Philmont. So.
Right, and so, but this pad also is a hex pattern, and it's not very thick, and it is pretty light. So you can see here, it's actually a hex pattern, which is really good for back sleepers. It's also pretty good for side sleepers, but if you toss and turn a lot, you're gonna hit the ground until you lay back over.
So if you're like on your knees on it, you're gonna feel the rocks and stuff. But once you lay down, I mean, it's great. I love it.
So again, with the sleeping bag, kind of a last minute purchase because we got a hole in that one. I went with the Ampex sleeping pad. It's a lightweight, ultralight camp pad. There are lighter pads out there, but this one was very affordable. It is lightweight. It comes in at just 16.9 ounces. It is a sack bag, which means it does come with this little fill up sack. I didn't use it at all. I really wish I hadn't brought it. It could have saved me a couple of ounces. I figure if I'm going to blow into a bag to fill my pad, I could just blow straight into the pad. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
The only thing I wish I had bought, and one of our advisors had bought and brought, is I would have swapped this out for a flex tail air pump. It's a real tiny air pump. Lasted him the whole trip, multiple fill-ups without even having to recharge. Highly recommend ditch the pump sack and switch over to a flex tail. You're going to save yourself a lot of heartache. The pad itself, I'm not going to fill it. I'm not going to bring it all the way out, but it does have an R value of 5.5 is what they rated at. It is 3 inches thick, maybe a little bit more, which was great. It is 72 inches long. I am 6'1", so I did stick off the end just a little, but it was negligible, right? I curl up and I'm fine. So this is a great pad.
Now we'll go into the pillow part.
Yeah, so as he pulls this out, I'm just going to bring it up a little bit closer to the camera here just so you can see how small this is. This is a Trekology
Very
pillow.
light for a pillow.
Super popular, very lightweight.
Very easy to blow up. You just...
So there we go, 4 breaths and it's completely full. What's the one thing we noticed though?
What we learned is when you have it full, it hurts. It's like sleeping on a rock. But what you do is all you have to do is just, here's the trick. You deflate it a little bit, and then whenever you lay down, it's like a soft pillow.
Right.
It's really nice.
Yeah, so it made it much nicer.
We figured that out like day high, pretty far in.
So this actually has a strap on the back. Which is extremely useful. Strap it to the back of the pad, right? It keeps it in place the whole time while you're sleeping. Super nice.
I learned that like day 6.
If you bring it a little bit closer, so you see these little dots on the back here. I don't know if you can see those or not, but the little dots on the back here are supposedly
grip
anti-slip.
It doesn't really work.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're kind of gimmicky.
the pillow's great, but it slides around. Let's be honest.
Yeah, if you're a hard sleeper, you're gonna move the pillow.
But I mean, it was great. Like,
oh yeah,
it was awesome.
Love this pillow. Very lightweight. Like I said, I mean, look how tiny it is when it packs up. I originally had put this in my titanium cup that I brought, but I did not bring the cup on the hike, so I just tossed this back in my pack, put it in the brain wherever it would fit. It's very squishable, so that was really easy.
And then really easy to get back in there. You just got to kind of push it in, but once it's in, it's done.
Yep. Yeah. So that's all of our sleep. The last thing I want to cover in terms of sleep stuff and why it's important is Maddox has a compression sack that we got off Amazon. It said it was made. It's actually more water resistant, and we'll get to why. We'll get to that later, how it got tested. This is a Granite Gear. It's an older cover. It's a little bit bigger than his. With the down sleeping bag, it actually compressed down to that small. So I could have gone with a smaller one, but this one was an older one that was given to me by my dad, and it is 100% waterproof. Tested it multiple times.
You're going to need 100% waterproof.
Right, because we'll get to it later, but you just don't know what's going to happen on the trail in terms of water and where it comes from in unexpected places. But the easiest thing to do, hey, just take it in, put a piece of paper inside, or a toilet paper, or paper towel or something, and throw it into the sink.
Faucet.
Yeah, run it under the sink,
try
faucet,
it out.
shower or something. Get this thing soaking wet, and see how it performs, because you're desperately gonna want your sleeping bag to stay waterproof.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about clothing. Let's start with what I have on first. So I have a dry fit shirt on first. I have my lightweight pants that are actually turned into shorts. They zip off at the knee, pretty common. I have my Darn Tough socks on. Love those. Talk about those in a minute. I've got my belt. It's a lightweight belt, and it goes all the way around with thickness. And then I've got my baseball hat and my sunglasses. Now, a lot of people will switch over and do the wide brim hat. I don't like the wide brim hats. I don't like how they fit in the back. I know some of them are crushable and stuff, but I just don't like that. Also, when we get to my long sleeve shirt, I like being able to actually put the hood over my head, or with my neck gaiter, being able to slide that up over. I know you can do some of that with a wide brim hat. It just makes it easier with a baseball hat. We'll start off with our socks first. So I've actually got on one pair of the Darn Tough socks, and I've got two pair that are in my pack. These are fabulous. They have a lifetime guarantee. You get a hole in them, tear them on the trail. Something happens to them, you lose one. Hey, these are great. I got 0 blisters with them. Maddox wore them also, 0 blisters. So that was perfect. The next thing we have, so I already have one shirt on. I would not carry 3 shirts, so I would already be wearing one of these, but I'm going to show both of them. So these are just both really lightweight dry fit t-shirts. I've got another pair of convertible pants. A lot of the boys actually wore shorts and brought a pair of shorts instead of pants. I brought 2 pair of pants. The one big difference that I noticed between these is on these black ones, they have this side zipper, which is not super convenient for being able to put stuff in. These green pants actually have a top zipper with a pouch, and then a Velcro side over here with a pouch. I would recommend trying to find some that were more like this with the top pouches versus the side. If you need to stick your water bottle in, or if you have any extra food or anything you want to just throw in there, it's really easy. The other thing that this pair had that the black pair doesn't is it has 2 back pockets, which doesn't sound that big a deal, but when you're out in the backcountry, you need pockets to put stuff. So that was very, very handy. I wish I had had another pair of these green pants that matched the black. Next, we have our underwear. So I already have one pair on. I would pack 2. This is the And One underwear. They're very breathable, polyester spandex mix, moisture wicking. Yeah, don't bring cotton, nothing cotton. Next, we have our 32-degree heat pants and shirt. So this is our base layer. There's actually 2 items missing from this gear list that Philmont would have you bring. We'll see if you can guess as I continue to go through this, if you can figure out which ones are missing. Next, we have a long sleeve moisture wicking shirt. Now there are 1,000 different options for this type of shirt. There are some that are lighter, some that are thicker. This one is about in the middle. It's not super light. It's not really thick either, but it is very breathable and is moisture wicking. So that was very handy. I wore this almost half the trip, if not more. When I wasn't wearing that, I would combine one of my t-shirts with my base layer. It's a lightweight base layer, and use that and just pull off the base layer later in the middle of the hike and just go with the t-shirt. As I continued layering up, we have an Amazon puffer jacket. It is very lightweight. I use this every day. At night when it got cold, or in the mornings when we would start out hiking, I would have this on before we started hiking because it was cold or cool. It was low 40s, and for us Georgia boys, that's a little chilly. But it comes with this nice little packable sack, and I'll show you what Maddox's actually looked like when it was packed up here. So this is what it compresses down to. So you're talking a pretty small pack, and actually it compresses a little bit more. This is great for being able to just shove it back in your pack. Now, a lot of people will just take it and shove it down in their pack. I liked having it this way. At least it provided one extra layer of moisture protection. Not waterproof, but it is water resistant, so that was super helpful. Next, we'll cover some of the other smaller items that you'll bring, a pair of gloves and a beanie. I used the beanie once, didn't use the gloves at all. A lot of the boys, though, actually did use their gloves quite a bit. We had 1 or 2 mornings where you'd wake up and there would be dew all over your tent, and at 40 degrees, dew on the hands just gets a little chilly. So the boys actually use their gloves quite a bit. I did not. I used the beanie one time. Several advisors and other boys on the crew actually used their beanies a lot at night when they were sleeping, or just during the early mornings or late nights. I used a neck gaiter every single day. Combined with my hooded shirt, I didn't have to use sunscreen like everybody else. This one had enough UVV protection, SPF protection, and this had SPF protection that I didn't have to use sunscreen really ever, which was great. Now, you do have to be kind of crazy to use hot stuff like this all the time, baking in Philmont's heat. But if you don't prefer to use sunscreen, this is a great alternative. And I use this for everything. The cool thing about a neck gaiter is if you get it wet, especially out in Philmont, it's going to dry very quickly. But if you get it wet, you can throw it on your neck, and it's a great way to cool down on those hot days. So that was great. The last piece I'll cover is actually going to be my rain jacket. So this is not a super breathable rain jacket. It is very lightweight though. It's more like a rain shell versus an actual rain jacket. The cool thing about it is it dries really, really quick, and it actually packs down into a nice little ball that looks like this. It's got this little mesh bag. So this is actually Maddox is packed up. It's got a mesh bag on the outside so it can dry out. And you can throw this on the outside of the pack. You can throw it in the inside of the pack. But it even compresses down even more. So this was a great buy. It's a 33,000 foot brand rain jacket I got off Amazon. Absolutely love it. I used it a lot during the first part of the hike. The last part of the hike, it didn't rain at all. We had great weather. But it does work. I have tested it several times. Now, I got to all the end of all the clothing here. Can you guess what 2 items are actually missing that Philmont recommends that you have? Any guess? Okay, I'm going to tell you. What Philmont's going to recommend that you have is an additional layer of fleece. A lightweight fleece, something that you can put on in between your base layer, your shirt, your puffer jacket. So that fleece would go inside the puffer jacket, and then your rain jacket, right? They want you to be able to layer and stack, which is great. It does get cold some of the nights. We had a couple that dipped into probably the mid-30s. But at nighttime, I'm inside my sleeping bag. It didn't really matter. The mornings were in the low 40s. I wouldn't have used a fleece at all ever. So the reason why I didn't bring one. Maddox didn't bring one either. Now there were 1 or 2 boys on our crew that actually did bring a fleece, and they did use it, but they used it in lieu of their puffer jacket, or instead of their base layer, they just threw that on. So you do have that option. Now the second piece of gear is kind of, if you like it, if you don't type opinion. It is your rain pants. I did not bring any rain pants. Maddox did not bring any rain pants. I didn't want the extra weight. I'm okay if my legs get soaking wet. They're going to get wet anyway, either from sweat or from rain. So it really didn't matter to me if I had rain pants. And honestly, only would have used them the first 3 days anyway, and the first 2 would have been at night, and they would have been barely used at all. So I'm really, really glad that personally I left the rain pants back at camp, didn't bring them at all. But as you dip into more of the rainy season of Philmont, I could see where bringing a pair of rain pants would be very helpful, in addition to your rain jacket. But for me, it didn't work, and Maddox didn't bring them either. And I'm not sure that anybody on our trip actually brought rain pants, just being that early in June. So that covers all of our clothing. And yeah, this is everything that Philmont says you pack, plus the rain pants, plus the fleece. That covers it all, and plus what I'm wearing.
Okay, now we're gonna jump into the water section of our video. So what we used for it is, instead of the Nalgene bottles, which are very popular, we used the Smart Water bottle. Why did we use that?
You tell me.
No.
You tell me what.
We should restart. I don't know. No,
I think because they're smaller and lighter weight.
Okay.
And they're not as big, and you can fit 2 in the side pocket, and they come with a little flipper valve.
Now we're going to jump into a water part of this video. So usually most people say use the Nalgene bottles. Well, we decided to go with the Smart Water bottle, which are becoming more popular. We used it because it's smaller and it doesn't poke as far out as a Nalgene, and it's a lighter because it's, I don't know, it's lighter plastic, I guess. Yeah,
so we can actually fit 2 liters in one side pouch instead of 1 Nalgene bottle liter, which anytime you're in Philmont, you're going to carry 4 to 6 liters on you. I actually carried closer to 6.
And I carried closer to 5 because
I had 2 of these and this little guy.
That's the one I didn't bring.
Right. So I brought this. This was my my smellables water. I had, anytime I made drink mix, coffee, anything like that, it went into this little bitty bottle.
Which is great because you have to put that up in the bear bag every night if it has a smellable, and it's small, so it goes up easily.
Right. So sure that it was empty every night before it went up to the bear bag. This is huge. So it's a little
I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. So
the flip tops for Smart Water only come on this size water bottle. They do not come on the big ones. But we found, my dad actually gave me these before we left, off some bottles that he had, and they are awesome.
You're going to want the flip and the big ones. If you can do both, I would.
Yeah, because here's the thing. When you're going down the trail and you need to pull this out, well, now you have to have 2 hands to actually untwist.
Instead of just doing one and just
flip and go. Now, there are some conversion packs out there, so you can actually convert these into camelbacks. We saw several people on the trail that actually had converted the Smart Water.
It's just like a little tube you hook up and it just goes.
Yeah, and it functions just like a camelback on the side. Or a drink hat, you know, it's just a different kind of drink hat.
We saw that. I saw that on there.
Somebody had a drink hat. A little excessive, but, you know, you do you. The next thing that we both had were 3-liter water bladders. So mine is an Alps in mountaineering, a 3-liter water bladder, has an insulated hose on it, a bite mouthpiece.
With the fancy stuff.
I know, right? And then the cool thing about this one is I can actually detach this hose at the bottom. And so when I'm getting in and out of my pack, I can take just the bladder and go fill it up and leave the hose in the pack, and I'm not dragging it all along the ground.
I definitely can't do that.
Sure, you didn't drag yours on the ground ever, did you?
Actually, it got dirty a lot. See me over here like licking off the dirt.
Right. Now we're going to talk about just the bladders in particular, because it is important that if you're taking a bladder, there's 2 things: the system in which you fill it up.
Yep. And
the quality of the bladder. You're gonna want something that's high quality.
We really didn't think it mattered until you're on the trail.
Right.
You're gonna be like, you know what, this will be fine.
So why do we need a high quality bladder? What happened to you?
Well, I actually punctured mine. I don't know how, but as you can see, we used some tape, and we'll get into that later. But yeah, it got everything wet, and that goes back to the dry sacks. Yeah. You gotta make sure that they're waterproof, because stuff like this happens all the time. Right.
So it was a 95-degree day outside, super clear, nothing in the sky.
I'm pretty sure we had a dry camp that day.
We had a dry camp. You had 2.5 liters in it, and you lost about half a liter.
Yeah.
And it was a while before you noticed.
And the puncture was like this small, maybe. It wasn't even that. It was dripping maybe like once every 5 seconds or so.
Yeah. So what we did not anticipate, and what you should anticipate with a bladder, is you got to leave room for compression. So we had it filled up to 2.5 liters, but it was also filled with the airs. And so after you stuck the pot
once you put everything in, it presses up and it fills the whole thing.
Right.
If you fill it all the way up, it's gonna like explode.
Right. So the crew gear actually compressed that bag so much they actually put 2 little holes in the back of it. So again, you don't always know where your water is going to come from. That's going to be a problem inside or outside your pack.
That's why rain wasn't the thing that got my stuff wet. It was the bladder. So.
Right. He ended up leaking about half a liter. And on a dry camp day where water is critical, that was a big deal. The second thing you're going to want to plan for with your Camelback is leaving room for compression. We just talked about it, but it's a 3-liter bladder. If I fill that all the way up to 3 liters, I've got no room to compress the bag.
And whenever you're shoving all the crew gear in, it pushes it back.
Right, so filling it up between 2 and 2.5 liters gets you that optimum compression space. It's less likely to puncture. But yeah, we did end up puncturing his bag. Now, the great thing about Philmont is if you do have a punctured bag and you don't have any way to repair it, generally, if you hit a commissary or a trading post along your route, they do sell platypus bags. They sell Camelbacks. You're talking anywhere from $40 to $60 camel bladder that you can put back in your pack. Which was great. We ended up being able to repair his, so we did not have to buy one, but we'll get into the repair stuff in a second. The last thing that I brought that I not used one time, and there's a reason for that. So I actually had a Canuck Outdoors 2-liter water bladder. Love it. I've used it on multiple of our day hikes, the shakedown hikes, and it was great. But our crew advisor actually provided all of the boys with a 2-liter Sea to Summit water bladder.
And you need to check this before you go on trek to see if your crew is going to provide it. Otherwise, you need to get some of these.
Right. So on dry camp days, you're packing upwards of 8 liters of water for cooking.
Crew water, not your personal.
Right. For cooking, for cleaning, for anything else you might need it for. Because it is a dry camp day. Or if somebody spills their water, you're going to have a way to fill it back up. You just don't know what's going to happen. But we did have 2 4-liter Sea to Summit water bags, and then every boy on the crew had a 2-liter Sea to Summit bag, which was more than enough. But it was great. So I didn't use this at all. I could have left it at home. But yeah, it's a great little bag. It's got a big mouth on it, so it's.
And then one of the other things that we didn't use that Philmont provided was the purifiers, like the iodine and stuff like that. Yeah,
so we took all of the iodine treatment stuff on our trail, on our shakedown hikes, on our day hikes. I actually brought them to Philmont.
And the filters we took too.
Right, and filters. We had a Sawyer filter and a pump filter. I did not take my Sawyer, and I wish I had not brought the iodine treatment because
Philmont provides you with enough iodine, like you're not going to run out there.
Yeah, so they have tablets called MicroPure, and those MicroPure tablets are great. They're more than enough that you need, and you can swap them out at any staff camp. So if you run out, you trade in your strips, you get more, and that was really easy. So I wish I had just left those at home, and I wish I had just left the reservoir at home. I didn't need either one of those. But yeah, so that's the water setup. I carried a little bit more, you carried a little bit less, but at the end of the day, it equaled out. We were able to get through it. All right, so now we're going to talk about a lot of the miscellaneous stuff, a lot of little stuff that goes in your bag that Philmont also recommends a handful of it. Some of it I brought on my own. Let's see, let's start with right here. We're just going to start with our bug spray and our hand sanitizer. I didn't use either one of these. We actually ended up having them in the pack gear, in the crew gear. So it really wasn't useful for me to bring these. Next, I have a Right Terrain notepad. It's a great spiral bound notepad for journaling. I journaled every night. I have 2 pens. One of them actually died on the trip, so I'm glad I brought a second. A Sharpie. You just don't know when you're gonna have to write your name on something. Make sure it's yours. Let's cover, I have my stove. This was actually a backup stove. It's an isobutane stove with another white gas hookup adapter that came with it. The adapter actually didn't work with the bottles that we brought, so double check that before you leave. We did not, so we did not actually get to use it with our white gas stoves. We did not use it except for one time, and that was just to boil a little cup of water. We actually used a Whisperlite, MSR Whisperlite stove the entire time for cooking. Next, we have this. This is our Gear Aid Tenacious tape. So this Tenacious tape is what I actually used to fix Maddox's Camelback. I started out with a small piece. It wasn't enough. it actually ended up breaking and the water filtered through. But you can see here on the back, I ended up going with this really big patch on the back here, and it held the entire rest of the time. There's a couple of smaller pieces underneath. I wish I had just done one big one to start out with, but once that tape is on, it is stuck. It goes on tents, it goes on boots, it goes on plastic, it goes on everything you can think of. It is phenomenal. Just be aware, once it's stuck, it's not coming back off. Next we have, I actually brought 6 Ziploc bags. They're gallon Ziploc freezer bags. They worked great. Used all 6 of them for various stuff. Washing, used them for my bowl, used them for bear bag stuff, smellables, that kind of thing. So those were super helpful. We have our titanium trial. It doesn't matter. Pick up whatever one you like, whatever one you think's best. I listed one in the comments that I got. We had one that was mine and then one that was also in the crew gear. We used both of them randomly. It just mattered who was able to get to one first. I had it packed easily, so just toss it out there. Next, we have our first aid kit. I'm not going to go through it. It's very basic. It has Band-Aids, it has some Advil, some Pepto-Bismol tablets, some allergy medication, just kind of some basic essentials. Our crew gear first aid kit actually had the most stuff. The one thing that I did bring on my own though, and I'm glad I did because I actually used a good bit of it, was the Leukotape. It is very sticky. A lot of people either use Leukotape or KT tape. Either one's fine. KT tape's a little bit less sticky, and sometimes it doesn't last as long, but this was fantastic. Anytime I had just kind of a hot spot that might start to show up, I would throw a piece of this tape on there and never had to worry about it again. Way better than a moleskin. Cannot recommend the Leukotape hard enough. Next, we're going to go into just my electronic stuff. This is not Philmont packing list things. This is stuff that I brought. All the boys left their cameras at home, their phones at base camp. They left their charger packs at base camp, so they didn't have to worry about any of that. But for the advisors, we actually brought our phones and just put them in airplane mode and battery saver so that we could protect them as long as we could and use them as a camera only. I would highly, highly, highly recommend just use it as a camera only. It'll make the trip way more enjoyable. You don't have to worry about kids trying to come home or finding service and stuff like that. So what I used was, I had just this little shorty USB A to C cable. You can see that there. And then I had an adapter that went along with it. I actually had one that's smaller, but this one worked great. I had 2 different battery packs. Both of them are 10,000 milliamp. This one is a Nightcore Gen 3 10,000 milliamp, and this was an Ampex 10,000 milliamp power bank. You can see here the difference between both of them other than the size. The Nightcore has only USB-C adapters, and this one has a USB-A, a micro, and a USB-C, just in case any of the other adult leaders needed something else to charge with. This was great. This one comes in at like 5.5 ounces. This one comes in at about 7.5 ounces. So pretty negligible weight. The other thing that I brought, so I wore a Garmin watch. I tracked all of our stuff every single day with the watch. I have brought this little adapter. It's a USB-C to Garmin adapter. It was like $5 on Amazon, came in a 2-pack, and I took one of those with me. All of this was in a plastic bag that was also in a dry bag. Now, unique to me in terms of electronics is I actually wear hearing aids, and they're rechargeable. So I had to bring this rechargeable battery pack for my hearing aids. It's USB-C, so I only had to charge it one time. Only had to charge the watch one time, and only had to charge my phone one time, and I still had power left over in both my power banks, which was great. I brought also as a backup my a second pair of hearing aids that were battery powered, just in case the ones I was wearing happened to die on the trail and I couldn't recharge them. The last thing that was unique to me was I actually have my glasses, contacts, contact solution, contact case. This went in the tent with me every single night, and I've changed my contacts, you know, take them out, put them in the mornings, but I brought 2 pair of extra contacts in case I needed those. The last thing that Philmont's going to recommend that I used a lot, but most people did not use it all, was a small pocket knife. Philmont does plenty of things that you don't actually have to use a knife, but for the Micro Pure comes in a little pouch that is sometimes unterable, and it's really hard to get into it. So a knife makes it really, really easy to get in. We really didn't have to do much outside of that, except for getting to the Micro Pure. But I had my knife on me all the time, and I think I was one of the few people that actually had one on our crew, so it got used a lot. Let's talk about flashlights. So I actually have a Nightcore HA11 headlamp. It's very lightweight. It's only a handful of ounces. I don't remember exactly, but it is a headlamp versus an actual flashlight. Maddox actually took a flashlight with him. It was a little bit heavier. It used 3 AAA batteries. There are lighter options out there, obviously. The one thing I will say though, as a headlamp versus a flashlight, in Philmont, there may be several times where you have to either pack up in the dark or put up in the dark. And having a headlight and having both hands free is critical. It just makes things go so much smoother and so much easier. So I'm glad I had the headlamp. The only thing about it that I wish I had done is it's got a rechargeable battery in it, 800 milliamp, 14500, 3.7 volt battery. I wish I had double checked to make sure it was fully charged before we left. It was only half charged and ended up running out on me on day 10 of 11 on the trail. End of the trip, it's not that big a deal. I can survive for one day. I have my phone, I use my phone flashlight, but it was kind of a pain to not be able to have the headlamp all the way through the trip. So double check and make sure your batteries, or bring an extra AA. I think that just about covers everything up here. The last thing is a towel and our food gear. So the towel is a 4 Monster. It's a medium-sized microfiber towel. It's not very big. It's not very small. It was perfect for me. You dry really, really fast in Philmont, so having a full towel is not necessary. Something like this, it's lightweight and small, was great. Our bowl, this is a Fossil's snap bowl. You can see, I can put it together here, how quick it goes together. If I can fold it the right way. That's usually helpful. There we go. They do only go one way, so if it starts snapping out on you, it's probably folding it the wrong way. There we go. There's our bowl. This was great. A lot of the kids, a lot of the advisors had this. They snap together. In Philmont, you're going to have to lick your stuff clean. This makes it really easy to lick everything clean. It makes it really easy to sanitize because you can just stick it right in the pot and get it all soaked in there. Very easy to clean. I have a titanium spoon. It's a long handled titanium spoon. The one thing about the titanium spoon is it's very lightweight. The other thing is, being a long handle like this, you have 8-quart pots. They're very big pots. So you're going to want to be able to get in there and actually scoop out from inside the pot. And if you have one of the little shorties, you're sticking your whole hand in the pot. And I know sanitary is not a crazy big thing, but it does make it easier to not have your hand covered in food by the time you come back out of getting your food out of the pot. I was the only one on my crew that did this. I actually took an extra gallon Ziploc bag that I could throw my plate and my spoon back into after we woke up in the mornings and put our stuff away. That way I can just throw this into my pack anywhere I wanted it. I usually put it right on the mesh pouch right on the front. This made it super easy to take it out and throw it in the smellables and the bear bags. But also it prevented food or any remnants of smell from getting all over my backpack. This was very handy. I mean, it's lightweight and very easy to do. I highly recommend just take one extra bag that you can stick your spoon and your plate into and throw inside your pack. So the last thing we're going to talk about is some of the extra things that Philmont says you should bring, can bring, but you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll start out first with our trek pole. We actually each have one of these. I'm the only one that used it.
I'll be honest, I didn't. I used mine one time and it was going uphill. I probably wouldn't have brought it. It wasn't really, it was just more weight that I didn't need.
Right. So I used mine every day, all the time. I did not do the 2 trek pole thing. I don't know how people do that.
Only a couple people did that.
Yeah, it's too hard because I need a free hand. I take a lot of pictures. I want to drink my water bottle.
Drinking water, eating, like all of that.
Anything. So you only using one was helpful for me. He didn't use this at all, so you probably could have just left it at home.
Yeah, I probably could have.
So that's our trek pole. You want to talk about the camp shoes for a minute?
Yes, so I actually did bring camp shoes. I know some people didn't. But my camp shoes, it was just a tennis shoe. And you just, well, let's see. Unclip it. There we go. I just brought, you know, old tennis shoe. A lot of people are saying, like, bring Crocs because they're great. You can walk through water and stuff. They're lightweight. I wouldn't because you can't do a lot of programming. And when you're running around and stuff, Crocs isn't the best because sometimes you stub your toe and you're going to need shoes that are good enough. Now, I would suggest getting a shoe with a little heel tab, I guess. And then so that whenever you clip it to your bag, because most of the time your camp shoe hangs outside, you can just clip it to the heel tab and then clip it right on the bag. Clip it right on the bag. Well, maybe.
Maybe.
Like that. If you don't have a shoe, I wouldn't spend extra money to get the heel tab. But if you don't, it's really easy. You can just do it on your laces and then clip it on the shoe as well.
Yeah, so a lot of the boys and some of the advisors brought an extra pair of tennis shoes. The tennis shoes are not going to be the most lightweight option. There are lighter weight, right? You can have the sandals, or you can have the ultra light sandals. I'm a non-camp shoe person, boots on, boots off type of guy.
And I am a camp shoe person.
Right.
Boots on, hike, I'm done with them.
Yeah, so as soon as we got to camp, you were in camp shoes. Yeah.
And then I also brought camp socks. So it was just ankle socks. They were really light. It just got you out of the thick socks so your feet could breathe a little bit. Right.
So once my boots are on in the morning, I don't take them off till night. Now, it's fine. It's a personal opinion debate, whatever you want to call it. But I found it more comfortable to just stay in the boots all day.
It's really up to you. I mean, also, I wouldn't spend extra money, like a ton on camp shoes. I would just get an old pair or just wear boots.
Right. Yeah.
They don't have to be high quality.
Yeah. Find the cheapest you can. We would definitely advise not doing Crocs though.
Yeah, I wouldn't, because it's not as good. They're not going to work as good.
The last thing I want to kind of talk about is our advisors. We had 2 advisors bring chairs. None of the boys brought chairs. There are lightweight options. They're going to cost you, upwards of $100+. There are some that sit on the ground that are kind of cheaper. So $50-ish.
Some people I just saw brought their sleeping pad and just sat on that.
Right. Yeah. So not money aside, is a camp chair worth it? I'm not trying to start and get into the debate of whether or not a camp chair is worth it or not. For neither one of us, a camp chair wasn't worth it. There were plenty of logs, plenty of places to sit. And it just wasn't a luxury item that we needed. But the advisors that did bring it loved their chairs. One of them had an REI, the other one had a Helix. So it's really your personal opinion if you want to carry that weight, if you want to pack it in, pack it out.
It is a little bit more weight though, I will say that.
Yeah, and where weight is an issue, where on average, how heavy was your pack on average?
Like 45 to 60.
Yeah, so
on the heaviest day, it was like 60.
Right, and then on mine, weighed in at 23 pounds dry, at 35 pounds full. And then after that, it weighed anywhere from 45 to 50 pounds. So a camp chair, not worth it to me, not worth it to you, not worth it to most of our crew. But if you need one, take it.
Another thing that he forgot to mention was the carabiners.
Oh, yeah.
These little S-clip carabiners, they worked great. Again, like I said, I used most of them for the camp shoe. Just clipped it on, and then you got another one, so it's even stronger. So if this one breaks or something happens, it's still on there. Yeah, that was one of the good things I'm glad we did.
Yeah, lots of tiny carabiners really help out. Yeah, so I think that really covers it in terms of all the luxury items and extra stuff that you can bring. So once again, I'm Zach.
I'm Maddox.
And this is our 2025 Philmont pack review. We did trek number
1217,
which covers all kinds of stuff. What was the highlight of that trek?
Mount Phillips. Mount Phillips for sure. It was awesome.
So it covered Mount Phillips. We also did the Tooth of Time. So you're talking high elevation, extreme highs, extreme lows. You're talking Mount Phillips, 11,736 feet. This pack worked out great for us.